Okay, so maintenance on the E36 is pretty fun, pretty easy to do yourself. But, so right now I'm doing an oil change, as you can see. Check that out. It's peeing. I just unloaded it a bit ago. Unloaded it. I just cracked the drain plug, let it go. I'm gonna show you some things that go wrong with E36s that are really fucking annoying. For one, I've replaced both serpentine belts. There's the serpentine belts. One thing that's really annoying about most E36s I've encountered is they don't have a skid plate. I don't know if that's necessarily true for all of them, but mine didn't have a skid plate and it's pretty annoying, so I'm probably gonna pick up like the Motion Motorsports under panel because I have the brake ducts and everything. Power steering leaks. Perpetual. I mean, I've had the reservoir and everything all replaced and yet still leaks. My oil pan is leaking, which isn't the worst thing in the world because it's a very slow leak, but that's something that's really irritating. I did check out the steering rack. I've done the tie rod assemblies. So what I'm gonna do is clean underneath here, and that's fine. You can see underneath here, I've got the KW coilovers here. I have the M3 lollipops. Okay, for some reason that is happening. Doesn't really do anything except just shearing off, no big deal. Got the Rogue Engineering tranny mounts up here. You can see the Rogue Engineering dual shear selector rod and all the new parts up there. New flex disc, so that's pretty nice. No leaks up there because I just I did the seal up top that you can't see up there. The input shaft seal. See, I can't remember if I did new exhaust gaskets. The transmission fluid I've checked, it's pretty much new. Fuel filter I did pretty recently. There's the cats that have been cut open. Here's the UUC System U exhaust. It is really dirty right now, and I'm probably gonna clean it up while I'm under here because I hate when the polish pipes don't shine. You can see the KW rear suspension there, the springs. Here's the 3.38 LSD. I marked it with 75,000 miles at the time and the date, so that I remember how many miles are on it. The OEM, nice condition, rear axles. So everything else, here's the X-brace. Looks like the oil is pretty much done draining right now, so as you can see there's a little bit of residue buildup, and that's from the oil pan. UC stainless steel clutch line. So these are the M3 Lemforder control arms. Let's see, all the bushings and ball joints and everything are good. So when you're doing the E36 maintenance, always check underneath the car periodically, make sure that everything is sound. Oh, let's go over here and I will show you. So M3 motor mounts, it's always good to have. Make sure and check your brakes. I just did mine. So they're definitely not low. They're about probably at 8 millimeters right now in the front, and the rears were about 6 last time I checked, and they really don't wear often, so pretty good there. New sway bar bushings all around, sway bar mount bushings. End links are fine, so that's good. We shake the wheel. If you shake the wheel back and forth, if you grab there and shake it, then you'll have an idea if your tie rods are having any play. And so far, mine do not, because I did the whole assemblies. I hope not. The oil is still kind of pissing out a little bit. It's not that bad. But it is around the time to change it monthly. Definitely not the miles, because the miles are I don't drive 6,000 miles in between each service interval. No leaks. It checks out. It's got lots of leaks there. So here's the rear trailing arm. I haven't checked the bushings actually, but sometimes when I'm under here too, I check the torque on the Rogue shock mounts up top there, and they're always good, so I'm not going to check them this time. check this out. Aha, LSD. All right, well, now that I've got that oil drain, I'll go ahead and move to the top part, and we'll get the oil filter out, make sure that gets changed. Let's put the plug back in. Let's take this, oh, the washer fell out, good. Okay. So now that I've put the drain plug back inside, all you need is a 17 mil wrench and a socket. Give it a good hand turn until it stops. You don't want to crush the washer. What I've done there is sprayed some brake fluid up top to clean up all the residue and the mess. So I'm gonna go ahead and just give it a good wiping, and this is awkward to do with one hand. Sprayed a bunch of brake cleaner. So basically what I did was just clean it up so I can monitor how bad the leak is. And since I already kind of know, but I'm doing it for this video just for maintenance purposes, you just want to make sure that you got the leaks taken care of and stay on top of it. You definitely don't want your car leaking a whole bunch of fluids, because why worry, right? I switched to this view so that I can give you a better idea of where I'm wiping. So I sprayed everywhere around the oil pan and just double checked around, you know, the transmission and everything, and none of these were leaking, so that's good because I already checked the fluids and everything was taken care of. Just wiping the pan, wiping around the X-brace, around the front subframe, wherever there was any oil, just give it a quick wipe. It's just a good idea to get your car up in the air, make sure that it's all functioning properly, take a look at your motor mounts, your tranny mounts. All these things really aren't expensive to fix, and they're pretty easy to do it yourself as long as you have a lift. You can do it on jack stands if you wanted. It's not hard, it's just time consuming, and that's the other thing is, like, a lot of people don't do these simple maintenance precautions with their car, and then they end up bitching about how expensive Euro cars are, and they can be expensive, but if you take care of these things before they really happen, it's not that bad. Got the power steering checked. I'm gonna go ahead and check those fluids while I'm up there too. Don't see any other leaks in the rest of the car. It looks like I think that's the charcoal canister up there. Has some residue around it, which is okay, but it's probably old residue. So I'm gonna go ahead and lower the car and get that oil filter out. All right, now that you have the car back down on the ground, I'll show you what to do after you're doing your oil change. So first things first, which I should have mentioned in the beginning, make sure that your oil cap is off. Another thing you want to do is, so you want to get your tool here to take off the oil cap, put it on there, unscrew it. I've already unscrewed it because it's hard to do with one hand. I'm going to show you the trick to take this off without getting oil everywhere. Ready? Check it out. Okay, so you're going to want to lift it up, let that oil drip, flip it upside down real quick. Minimal oil. You got one drip. You can wipe that up. Okay, as you can see, the difference in the oil filter. I mean, obviously this one is covered in oil, but it's thoroughly used. So to take it out, just go ahead and pop it out. There you go, and throw it away. And then when you have your new filter, I like to put it downwards first. Pop it on in, make sure you hear or do it till it clicks. There you go, now you're in. And then the other thing is that you're gonna wanna replace this gasket. You don't have to every time, but I like to since it comes in the kit, using the HU925 4X from the Mon filter. You can use other filters, that's fine. I like these. It's like $5 or $6. So take out your gasket. Some kits come with replacement gaskets here and here, but also not necessary. Grab your pick. I like any sort of pick. You basically just work your way in the thread, pull it out. Okay, now that you have that taken out with your pick, you can take this old gasket, throw it away. You can give that a good wipe if you want to. In this case, I will just take this new gasket, slip it over the top, do it with one hand. This is a lot harder with one hand, but you basically slide this down and make sure it seats on the bottom there just like it was when you found it, and that's it. Okay, now that you have everything put back together, go ahead and just put that in there. You can just screw it in by hand. All right, now you'll feel that gasket start to catch a little bit, And here is where you take your tool and go ahead and just tighten that down. Now you don't need to have this like ultra tight, because when you break it off, when you crack the seal next time, it's gonna be kind of tough. I should have an extension on this so that I don't hit the intake manifold every time, making this really hard on myself, but this is what you do. Okay, so take that. All right, hand tight, that's it. That's all you do. Go ahead and set this aside, take your rag, wipe. Bam, that's it. Get ready to fill with a funnel, and I'm gonna go get 6 quarts of oil. That's how much this takes. And you're gonna use 5-weight 30 synthetic. Now, I use one of these filters. These are really handy. I mean, sorry, I keep calling it a filter, it's a funnel. This is nice because it just twists into the factory BMW oil filler neck. So that's perfect. It's not gonna go anywhere. The seal is good. Now you can fill it with oil, drip free. Okay, I've replaced the oil cap, the oil filler cap. I'm really weird and I like it facing the correct way because I'm anal, but there's no need to do that, but if you want to, you can. While we're here, I'm gonna do some other things. So I have a cold air intake. The intake is beneath the headlight there. I've checked the filter. It probably needs to be cleaned soon, but I did clean it during the summertime, so I mean, could be okay. Other things to check while you're under here, like I said, check the belts, check everything, check hoses, check connections. Just give everything a once over, make sure that there's no obvious leaks or anything like that. If you do have a brake fluid tester for moisture, you can go ahead and test that. Pop out that cap, and here's a brake fluid tester right here. Mine's at 1%. In fact, just for the video, I'll just go ahead and show you. This is always good to have. Take a look and make sure that your brake fluid's not too dark. That's one indicator. Keeping up on this service is a big deal. Don't fall in there. There you go. You don't want to have more than 3%, well, actually more realistically 2% of brake fluid. So I'm at 1%, which means I am perfectly okay and I don't need to change my brake fluid. Check your oil underneath the car if you want to check your transmission fluid. That's always good to do too. Yes, manual transmissions have transmission fluid. And then while you're also in here, you can check your coolant. I don't use my washer fluid, but you can check the reservoir. It's obvious, it's right there. You can check the coolant, make sure that it's up to the temperature. There's a cold fill line right there. You can check the tops of the coilovers or the strut towers for mushrooming. You can make sure that these aren't mushroomed up, and if they are, you can buy some reinforcement plates and put them under there. Check your wiper blades, make sure those are not in poor condition. If your hood won't stay up, you can check your struts. Mine are replaced. They were getting a little soft. You can check for coolant leaks around the thermostat here. I have the metal housing. I've also done the fan delete. So there's the nut down there. And so that gives me a lot more access past this shroud. And then also here's your power steering. So you can check the power steering level. You just crack the cap and there's a fill right there. And the double line means it is filled. So I have the appropriate amount of fluid in there, and I also have checked to see if it's dirty. So now that we have everything in order in the E36's engine bay, I'm gonna go ahead and turn on the car, shut it off, and then I'll go ahead and show you how to read the dipstick. All right, I went ahead and started the engine. Now that I've performed every single other check around the car, checked the brakes, checked the power steering, checked pretty much all the fluids except for the transmission and differential because I've already done that pretty recently. I'm just letting the motor warm up a little bit with the new oil, and then I can go ahead and stop it and go ahead and check the dipstick. Side note though, look how freaking sexy my car looks right now. There's something about these M52s, how they sit in the engine bay and everything. It just looks so good. And I love the stance with my front wheels. And one thing that really bugs me about E36s is the condensation behind the lights. On all the Euro style lights, they get condensation and you have to pull them apart. It's annoying, and I'm really tired of it and I want to fix it. But in either case, listen to it purr. So as you can see, I take care of this thing a lot. We have everything done, dialed in, taken care of, except for the oil leak underneath, which I already have known about. I just need to order the gasket and fix it. But there you are. There's the car. It's keeping up on the maintenance is really important with these. You just have to make sure that everything is done. The other thing that is happening right now is the ABS light is on because the front right wheel speed sensor is going out, or the module could be going out. In either case, I don't really need ABS at the time. If you know how to modulate the brakes yourself, in the case of a heavy stop, then you should be okay. Another thing that's important to do after the oil change is write yourself an oil sticker. I like to write myself a note for 6,000 miles or 6 months. Whichever comes first, that's when you change your oil. Do it yourself, you save a lot of money. It's around 50 bucks or something to do it yourself. Here is where your dipstick line is. So right here means that it's a quart low. So if it's here, it's half a quart. This whole indicator right here is basically a quart. So if you come all the way up and it's on this line right here, then you are golden. If it comes above it, you overfilled, and that's not good. One important thing to remember too is that the oil takes a little bit to drain as soon as you turn it off. So give it a second, let the oil kind of drain down to the block, and you can check it. Also, the first thing that you should do, if you haven't already, is a CDV delete. It's the clutch delay valve. It basically buffers the shifts, like in a way of when you shift, if you want to shift fast in a BMW, it delays it so that you can't actually just quick shift. So I deleted that, did the clutch or the stainless steel clutch line at the same time. It's $20 from UUC, Rogue Engineering, Turner Motorsport. Just get it. Keep it in mind if you're looking for one of these cars, if someone hasn't provided you with service records, be really wary, because I bought this car with 0 service records. The guy claimed to have done every single thing, and the water pump blew the next day, and all the maintenance started following through. So don't get stuck with the bill like me. Don't spend $10,000 in maintenance throughout the course of 6 years. Go ahead and just save yourself the money and save yourself the time. These cars aren't lemons, they're good cars, they just need a lot of love. They're 20 years old. Check the suspension for any leaking struts, belt condition, gaskets, anything that's giving an indication of that it's worn or anything. That gives you an idea. That is a full up in the air inspection. That's basically what a buyer's inspection will give you if you wanted to buy this car, say that you're going to purchase a car. You know, short of compression testing, there's really nothing else you can do. You can check the differential and the transmission fluids and everything just by cracking a drain plug and checking how dirty it is. And you can check everything else just on top of the motor and really searching through it. And then you take it for a drive, make sure there's no shimmies, shake, any weird indications of any symptoms coming up, because it can cost you a lot of money in the long run. Okay, so now that the video is over, and thanks for sticking around. That was a long video. I'm sorry, I don't usually make them that long, but I did the oil change, kind of like a buyer's inspection, as if you were going to get the car up in the air, what to look for, kind of what goes wrong on E36s, some common things to look for. I mean, really, they're solid cars. They're very easy to work on by yourself. You really kind of know, if you know cars and you've bought and sold cars before, you kind of know what to look for. This video is meant for more people who don't really know how to do this, who don't really know where to begin. I'm just letting you know that an E36 is a great platform for you to get started and for you to work on yourself. And an oil change is, really basic. But I was there 5 years ago. I didn't know how to do any of this stuff. And it's just really easy, and you can get started today. Thankfully, I have a shop that I can go to and use on the weekends. My buddy owns it, and it's really nice of him to let me use that. And, just take care of my car, because it's very helpful to have a lift, not have jack stands. But anyway, so that's the video. I'm going to make some more. Got some more coming. Got to edit a few. Some detailing videos. I think I'm going to start categorizing certain videos, like I'll start doing little segments, like I'll work on the E36 one video, and then maybe I'll do some detailing videos, another one, and maybe some hot sauce or random things in between. Just trying to build the channel to be more organized and move away from the random crap that I've put on there throughout the years. But anyway, like I said, thanks for watching. I'm not going to make this video much longer since it's already like 20 minutes, but see you next time.